time is running out. Might not feel like it because we've got a Labor government federally in most states on mainland Australia. Actually, it's just bought us a little bit of time. And we can waste that little bit of time and opportunity, or we can make the most of it. I've had a long life of activism, and I've had to waste most of it fighting Tory governments that try to cut services, slash the rights of working people and others, create culture wars of abuse and horror. We don't have to do that right now. They're coming back, the Tories. They're going to come back to get us. It'll happen again. If we don't build our organising now for that day and to make the Labor governments that have got even better Labor governments to make real change, we'll fail. I think we all remember hearing Lottie's story of self the other day. You got that fabulous, encouraging applause from you. And why? It wasn't just because it was a powerful story, it was, you know, that moment where she's diving and sees the degradation of the oceans and the mindful of the climate change. And what more urgent kind of crisis do we face, an existential one, than that? It's not the only one. They're related to all so many other issues that we face. Including how the billionaires are running our world. I don't just mean Trump. Homegrown, we've got Gina Rinehart, we've got Kerry Stokes, we've got Rupert Murdoch. And even when you get the progressive ones like Twiggy Forrest, well, you know, he's still calling the shots as his plaything, it's not us. So what's to be done? I'm standing in the back of the music room at my high school. I've started high school for 4 weeks. And my new best friend I've known for those 4 weeks is Robert. He's a big guy, Robert. And we're standing at the back in the room, which is packed, to have a discussion about the formation of a student representative council at our school. There's a supervising teacher and all the higher year students are giving long-winded speeches with their ideas about what we should fight for. You know, not having to wear uniforms, you know, allowing students to smoke. Yeah, history probably wasn't on their side on that one. It's hot in that room. And I look at Robert and he's sweating and I'm uncomfortable too. And anyway, I thought, I know what I want to say. It's not being said, because they're having a chat about how they're going to make decisions. We know what that is, you know. Will we have an election across the whole school? And, you know, as well as the issues. Anyway, I get up the gumption to talk, and they note that I'm the youngest person there at 12 to sort of have a say. And I'm saying, look, when I was at primary school, I had pretty good buildings, actually, you know. When I came to this school, I mean, they're demountable. It's summer in Adelaide, it's stinking hot. And I'm thinking of Robert and his discomfort and how that's affecting his learning. And mine too, for that matter, all of my classmates. And you know, if you make it a vote across the whole school, well, it's just going to be the older students that are going to get up. How are these sort of issues? Because it's all the lower years that get the shitty rooms. The higher ones are fine, they're in these comfortable brick buildings. So, for me, the outcome of this story is this. You've got to show a little bit of courage, a lot of courage sometimes. Let me ask this. Has anybody here spoken up at a political meeting for the first time in their life? Put your hand up. Have you ever spoken at a political meeting for the first time in your life? Hand up. You all then have a story of the courage that you showed in that moment. Maybe it's one you share, maybe it's one you tell yourself to remind yourself when you need courage. Is courage enough? I think sort of learnt here that no, not really. We need a whole lot of other crafts, not just storytelling, but also of organising powerful and democratic groups to have an impact. How we organise our democracy matters. If we don't structure it in a way to include those that are excluded, the classes that don't have that power, keep in mind the classes that do, we won't win. If, for example, we focus on climate change and environmentalism, without sort of giving workers power and other civil society organisations, say through our structures and activities, then we're not actually getting to the root problem. But it sounds so big, doesn't it? We've got to think about what we can do. Our commitment and the commitment that we have garnered from Red and Marley and Lottie and Anne and Annie and Daniel, and not just them, the summer school program, which is his part, we've been running over the 2 online courses, and then in Perth, we ran a couple of in-person courses. There's a saying about, it didn't happen if you didn't measure it. Well, here's the measurements. Got 20 people in this room that have seen this course to the end. Over the summer school, we trained up 23 organisers, and in an in-person program in WA, we trained 10. Do you think it's realistic for 53 organisers to ask them to do a one-to-one with potential activists once a month for a year? That'll give us 600 new activists that had a one-to-one. We trained in the summer school 15 people to be coaches, so that when we run our summer school in 26-27, we have even more people doing this as participants and learning the coaching and the upfront training. We grow. And the year after, we're not doing 600 one-to-ones, we're doing 1,000. And we haven't got like a dozen or more coaches and trainers, we've got a couple of dozen of them, and the year after that, it's more. And the way we do that is we commit to creating a community of practice. You've now got the strategic organising skills, you know how to make democratic teams, we're about to do some of those action practice stuff. Monday, the 16th of February, we're having our first community of practice by Zoom at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We're having a meeting via Zoom to form the founding team for the organising practice community and to make this a reality with some regular kind of refresh and practice sessions. We're asking people to join Fabian's to give it support. There's alternatives who need it, but who's in? Great. Scan that code, you land on the page. Thank you.